I just wanted to jump on today because I really wanted to help those of you who might be feeling stuck. What if the reason you feel stuck isn't because you're lazy or disorganized, but because no one ever taught you a better way? What if the chaos in your life isn't a sign that you're failing, but a sign that maybe it's time to stop trying to figure it all out on your own? So, for those that don't know me, I'm Mel Schenker. I am the founder of She's Organized. I am a mum and a wife, and I have been coaching in the corporate world for quite a number of years. And 7 months ago, I took the leap to starting my own business and helping everyday people get their lives back on track, get unstuck. I feel like we are living in this world where so many of us are trying to keep it all together and we're comparing ourselves with what we see on social media and with the people around us. And a lot of it is filtered and it's not realistic. And so I wanted to try and, I guess, make things a little bit more real again and bring it back down. So I wanted to cover something with you today that I'm hoping will really help you. And my foundation of where I start is the mindset. Because as much as I focus on organizing and I believe that creating some order in your life can be a really good thing, and I really believe that our mindset is the place that we need to start, because you can organize your home, you can organize your time and money and everything else. But if you are not in the right headspace, it's not going to last. It's not going to stick. So I wanted to touch on what I call the Vexanova Technique. So this is something that I'd been doing for years and didn't even realize that, I guess I didn't have words for it. But once I started this business, I really started to think about, well, how is it that I go about this? And I came up with these 5 R's. So the first one is recognize. So it's identifying the false beliefs. What's keeping you stuck? So that's a really important one. And that might be something that you need to sit on for a little bit and actually go, well, why do I think this way? Like, one example could be, I don't have enough time to look after myself. I don't have enough time for myself. Well, identify why you believe that and why are you stuck in that cycle. The second one is reveal. So understanding where it came from and why it exists. So a lot of the time it comes back to our childhood or particular events that have happened to us as we've grown up. So that again might require a little bit of time to sit in and eventually release what no longer is serving you with that. The third one is replace. So now we want to start shifting that belief. We want to move from that limiting belief that's keeping us stuck to actually something that is going to serve you. Actually going, well, maybe I can put myself first today and I can find 10 minutes for myself. So it's starting to replace these things. Now, that is going to take time, because it doesn't matter if you're undoing a few years worth of talk or a lifetime of it. It's going to take some time to think of something that you can replace those negative things with. And then that moves us into our fourth one, rewrite. And that's actually speaking that life, speaking that new belief into us, and that positive one that's going to actually bring us forward. And then the fifth one is reinforce. So consistency. It's doing it again and again and again and again. And that could be that you get to a point where you go, well, taking care of myself helps me care for others better. So we got recognize, reveal, replace, rewrite, reinforce. And those 5 things are really sort of the cornerstone for how we can think about any situation. So it's not just limited to organizing. This can really be used for anything. I'm yet to come across a situation where this isn't applicable. So I'm hoping that those 5 R's in that Vexanova technique can help shift the way that you think. But it's great having that information and that knowledge. And a lot of the time you can go, wow, that's really good to know, but how do I do that? Where do I start? And to be honest, that's where I come in. That's where you would benefit from having a life coach. And you might be thinking, what is a life coach? Well, what do they actually do? Well, in a nutshell, you're currently stuck. You're in one situation, you've got a problem, and You're wanting to bridge that gap and you're wanting to get to the other side to where you want to be. And that's what a life coach helps you do. It sort of gets you from that problem and helps bridge that gap towards the solution. So it can be through support, can be through practical, tangible things to help you move forward. And that's a lot of what I do. And I come from a background and a basis of doing it through organizing, through creating order across your time, your home, your work and career, your money, and your self-care. That's really important. So they're part of my 5 pillars. And that's what I focus on with a lot. And so this is something that, as I said, I've coached for years in the corporate world, one-on-one, in groups, all of that kind of thing. And now I'm moving these skills into you guys, helping you with what you do. And this has been 12 years of learning, of growing, of tens of thousands of dollars and time and effort and that into learning to really mastering these skills to be able to help you so you don't have to spend 12 years and tens of thousands of dollars in doing all of this too. Now, you might be thinking, well, I can't afford a life coach, or it's probably going to cost me a fortune. Look, everyone's on a different budget and I get it. For the last few years, it's been really tough for everyone, even those that feel like they were earning a pretty comfortable amount who are feeling the pinch. So I totally get it. And there is something for everyone there. But I guess my question to you is, what is the cost of going it alone, of trying to figure it out on your own? What's it cost you so far? And if, just say, in another 3 months, you haven't got the support and you haven't got the help, where will you be? Will you still be in the same spot? Will you be potentially even worse? Physically, mentally, financially? The question is something worth thinking about. And I guess maybe another way to measure it is just say that your time is worth $30 an hour. Look, to be honest, I feel like everyone's time should be worth a lot more than that, and yours probably is. But for argument's sake, let's just say it's worth $30 an hour. And across the week, we have 168 hours a week, I believe. And let's say that 10 hours of those 168 are unproductive. Maybe you're scrolling through social media, you're wasting time procrastinating on doing tasks around the house that maybe you should do, but you just don't want to do. You're tired, you want to have a rest, all these things. Let's just say 10 hours a week is being wasted, unproductive. Well, that would work out to be about $300 a week in time down the drain. Now, if, just say, you were to get some coaching and you put in $300, and if at the end of that week you're no longer stuck, you can see a way out of your current situation, wouldn't you think that that would be worth that $300? Because it's not something that you would necessarily have to pay again and again. It's skills that you've learned that you can apply next week, the week after that. It's something that nobody can actually take away from you. It's an investment in yourself. But just say, okay, that's all right. You got a bit unstuck, but you actually want to be moving forward. You want to start being productive, have something to show for your time. So just say the following week, $300 again. But this time, you've actually got something to show for those 10 hours. And you get to the end of the week and you actually think, wow, I actually achieved a few things this week and I feel pretty good about it. What does that do for you? How does that make you feel as a mum, as I don't know, whoever you are? How does that make you feel, actually feeling like, I can actually achieve something and I'm not failing and I'm actually starting to move forward, and that little bit of momentum starts to pick up momentum and it keeps building you forward. And just say you did that and it was $300 a week for 12 weeks. What's that? That's 3,600, just say, that you spent in 12 weeks. But you have gone from being in this place where you've potentially been stuck for years to all of a sudden you're managing your time better, you're more productive, you walk into your home and you actually know where everything is. You feel calm and peaceful because you don't have all this this clutter, visual clutter, bogging you down. You can go to work and actually think clearly, and that might even be able to enable you to be more productive at work so you can potentially get that pay rise or that promotion that you've been hoping to get. You can look at your finances and actually go, well, hang on, now I'm not wasting money on playing games on my phone and, I don't know, buying coins or something, and money's just going down the drain. Like, you're actually starting to save money there too. And when it comes to your self-care, well, even if you haven't necessarily put time aside to look after yourself, which, trust me, if you're working with me, I'll make sure that that becomes a priority. But even if you didn't, just knowing that you're achieving things, moving forward, looking after your family better, looking after yourself better, isn't that worth something too? So I'm not saying that you would need to spend that much either with me, because in fact, a lot of the stuff of what I offer doesn't even come close. So I think it's something worth thinking about, investing in yourself, putting yourself first for once, because it's so easy to go, oh, but that money could go towards this or towards that. But if you could invest a little bit in yourself and put yourself first, you will be able to see the dividends as time goes on. And this is a skill that you're acquiring that nobody can take away from you again. And the knock-on effect, you'll be able to help those around you and that too. And you'll just be able to show up better for your family, for your friends, colleagues. Life just starts to look that little bit more better. So I wanted to jump on, cover all of that. If you are interested, if you are thinking that maybe it is something worth looking at, regardless of the budget, even if you're like, Mel, I've only got a few dollars in the account, that's fine. I still want to be able to hear from you and be able to help you in any way that I can. But do keep in mind that if I am going to potentially be working one-on-one, I have very limited space. I can only really take on about 10 people at a time, and a few of those spaces are already gone. So something to consider. Whoever gets in first, I will look after first. If there does tend to be a bit of a influx of people that are interested, then there may end up being a little bit of a waiting list. So don't take too long in working out what you want to do, because ultimately I want to help as many of you as possible. Just stop feeling overwhelmed and get unstuck and start moving forward and living the life that you actually want to be living. I look forward to hearing from you, and bye.